Hey everyone, I've been using the iPhone 14 Pro Max for over a month now. It's been with me in over 6 different countries and I've used it every single day, so I definitely have some thoughts on this device. And that's what this video is all about. And today's video is brought to you by Rhino Shield, with their excellent lineup of incredible cases offering stellar protection, customization, and a range of other great features. Use my link in the description down below and code KNOOPSY for 20% off your purchase in the first week and 10% off after. Check it out. Okay, so first up, the design. This phone does look very similar, of course, to the previous 13 series and 12 series of devices, except for a slightly larger camera module once again this year. But despite looking the same as the previous few years, it's a very timeless design. Like, it looks great, it feels great, is modern, and honestly still looks clean and refreshing. I hope they don't really drastically change it over the next few years. I think it looks great. And this device, of course, also is still water resistant, has excellent, almost some of the best stereo speakers on any smartphone. The buttons feel great. They've really just perfected this design year over year over year, and it's the best it's ever been. And in terms of the colors this year, I'll be honest, I'm not really the biggest fan of the deep purple colorway. I've gone with the white and silver iPhone for the last 3 years and I have no complaints, I'm not sick of it. I used to go with the space gray iPhone every single year until I switched to the white and silver and I'm not looking back. If you've always gone with the darker color iPhone, try with the white and silver, I think you're gonna like it. It's very refreshing, very clean. Now, despite the design kind of being the same for the last few years, one of the biggest changes here is the new dynamic island, which is replacing the notch on the front of the device. And the dynamic island kind of feels alive on this device. Just the animations, the way that when you close an app and it flies up into the dynamic island, and depending on where you kind of toss the app up, it's all very dynamic. It feels alive, it feels living. The way it adapts to the different apps you're using. It is really a beautiful integration of hardware and software. It gives you things like music controls if you're in a phone call, more information from certain apps, timers, it shows the progress, AirDrop, it shows your progress up there when you send a file, and third-party apps are starting to take advantage of the dynamic island, as well as with things like live activities. Now personally, I like the design of the dynamic island. I think it looks way more futuristic, I think it looks a lot cleaner, but if we're being honest, it's kind of the same thing as the notch, and takes up the same amount of space, if not slightly more, as it grows and expands for certain apps. I'll take it any day over the notch, which is just kind of like a functionally useless block. This actually shows information, it shows things. It makes the phone feel a lot more alive and more fun to use. They've taken a design weakness, a design flaw, a design negative, and made it into basically a feature. A reason why people actually want to buy this new phone. So that's pretty sweet. And as you may have noticed, the always on display is not on my phone. And that's because I just kind of got sick of it. It's way too bright. It looks like your phone is always on, which it is, but it's just too bright. And also I don't want my notifications being always front and center for people to see if I leave my phone on the table or just kind of leave it when I'm doing something else. So I turned it off. They kind of missed the boat with that one, in my opinion. The rest of the display though is incredibly impressive, like the colors, the sharpness, the brightness up to 2000 nits. It's absurd how good this display is. I'm a really big fan. But with that absurd amount of brightness, just keep in mind you're gonna drain battery a lot, especially if you have it on max all the time. It's almost too bright to look at on max, but if you're outdoors, you're gonna crank it up, it's gonna drain battery, which is definitely a weakness, but keep that in mind. I also love the 120 Hz here. Once again, the phone feels incredibly smooth, incredibly fluid. For just everyday tasks, it makes it feel even faster than it actually is. And all those animations just look gorgeous on this device. Okay, let's talk about the camera setup on this device. And this year, I'm incredibly excited about the upgrades they've made across all the cameras on this phone. So first up, the selfie camera. This year it's 12 megapixels, has an f1.9 aperture, and the biggest upgrade though is the addition of autofocus. Many Android phones like Samsung and Huawei phones have had autofocus in their front-facing cameras for years, but this is the first time in an iPhone, and it is something I've wanted for so long. but it's most exciting for video. So this is the selfie camera recording 4K video on this device, and you're hearing the audio quality as well right now. And it just looks so incredibly good for a front-facing camera. Like, I can get up close, I'm still in focus, I can go far away, I'm still in focus, and having such a good front-facing camera for video recording is an amazing thing because you don't have to use your rear camera where you can't see yourself. Now you can set this on a tripod, use a front-facing camera, and the quality is outstanding. So, you know, for content creation, this is incredible. Okay, let's talk about the rear cameras now. And this year, Apple gave us an incredibly versatile camera setup and also gave me everything I want with the iPhone cameras. So we have the ultra-wide 12 megapixel camera with autofocus, a wide 48 megapixel main camera, 3x telephoto zoom camera, which is also 12 megapixels, and Apple also brought back something really interesting this year, which is 2x zoom. Okay, so let me explain. The main wide camera is equivalent to 24mm, and the telephoto camera is equivalent to 77mm. And both of these can be a little bit too extreme for certain shots you might have in mind. Either it's going to turn out too wide or too zoomed in. And the only in between is with digital zoom, which is decent but not always great. While the 2x zoom option, which is equivalent to 48mm, is perfectly right there in the middle. And Apple isn't just giving you a digital zoom in option, there's a whole bunch of stuff happening here. So basically, it's cropping in on the 48 megapixel sensor right in the center portion, and a bunch of other softer magic is happening as well to create what basically feels like an optical 2x zoom telephoto camera without the actual hardware there, if that all makes sense. It also has all the benefits of using that main camera, like having better depth of field, the brightness, the low light performance, so it's pretty sick. I'm really happy with it. I'm so happy that Apple brought it back. And all the photos taken with this phone look absolutely stunning. It looks like the phone is using one camera with different lenses rather than 3 different cameras. It's a very consistent shooting experience that other phones have really not caught up to that well. The phone takes incredibly sharp photos with excellent HDR, accurate, beautiful colors, and it's also very quick to shoot as well. You tap the button, photos almost instant. It's incredible. I've shot photos here at home, in Toronto, in Vietnam, in San Francisco, Paris, and a bunch of other places as well, really testing out all these cameras, and I'm super impressed with the photos. And because the phone is such a large sensor, depth of field is also very impressive and natural. And for night and low light shots, I've actually turned off night mode this year because the phone has such big sensors that let in so much light, they almost don't even need to wait those extra 1 or 2 seconds for night mode to do its thing. For certain types of night photos like night sky shots or long exposures on a tripod, sure, it's great to have, but in general, for most of your low light and night shots, you'll be fine without any sort of night mode or even flash, unless you want that for a certain creative style. This year the phone also shoots 48 megapixel RAW photos with just so much detail, they're absolutely beautiful, and a lot of room to actually adjust things like colors, contrast, and shadows in apps like Lightroom and Photoshop. And video recording on this phone is just something really special. Across all the cameras, I already talked about the selfie camera, but all the rear cameras as well, video recording up to 4K 60 is just gorgeous. To this day, no other phone can even come close to the quality of video coming from this device. Stabilization is smooth and feels natural, even when walking or running. Colors and dynamic range are outstanding. Sharpness and detail, next level. So these are all kind of like day-to-day life shots and they look beautiful. But I also shot my whole 14 Pro Max day in the life video with a second 14 Pro, as well as countless clips in this video, other videos I've posted, and also future videos. It's just such a versatile camera and the quality is so impressive. And also cinematic mode got an upgrade as well. It does 4K 30 or 4K 24. It's pretty good for objects, it's good for people, and it's just a nice solid creative tool for certain shots you might have in mind. So the overall camera experience here is 10 out of 10. They're giving me everything I want. I really have no complaints, and you know, maybe I'd like to have like a 5x optical zoom in the future because now we have that 2x zoom in the middle, but besides that, I'm really happy with the camera experience here. I can't wait to shoot even more photos, even more videos with this device. I'm also really happy with the performance and day-to-day usage with this device, which basically means I have really nothing to say, and that's a good thing. The phone is incredibly fast and smooth with no lag, no slowness, everything just feels nice and quick and speedy on this device, including iOS 16.1, which the phone is currently upgraded to. And honestly, with iOS 16 this year, we've kind of gotten the biggest, most influential change to the iPhone software experience in years. Apple kind of just straight up gave us everything we've wanted in iOS for years, and especially things in iMessage like undo send, editing messages. Being able to mark a message as unread is the best feature to come out of iOS 16, so shout out to Apple. Okay, let's talk about battery life. So Apple put a 4323 milliamp hour battery in this phone, and while the battery life is pretty good, it's not like drastically better this year as it has been in previous years. It's kind of the same as a 13 Pro Max, if not slightly not as consistent. Now, I can almost always get through a full day of usage with this device, no problem, but there are some days where I have to stop and charge it up in the afternoon, either by plugging it in, slapping on a MagSafe charger, or adding on a MagSafe battery pack for a quick top-up. More so for those busier days or if I have to go out in the evening for a later night. Now, my day consists of using social apps almost non-stop, taking photos and videos, replying to emails, watching videos, taking phone calls, using Google Maps, and using a mix of 5G, Wi-Fi, just kind of regular usage. Of course, usage varies every single day and usage varies per person as well, but for me personally, battery life has been pretty good, not anything extremely special, but it does get me through most days without really any stress. Okay, to conclude, 1 month later with this device, and overall, I'm very happy. Apple did something really exciting this year by doing really nothing exciting at all, except listening to what people actually want with their phone, both with the hardware, the features, and the software. I pick up this phone not longing for any specific feature or wishing something was here that isn't here, because this phone kinda has it all. It has a beautiful design that after only 3 years almost feels timeless and iconic. It has a gorgeous display with some really cool features. It has some of the best cameras on any device you can buy. Performance you don't have to even think about because it just works well with almost everything you throw at it. Solid battery life and a software experience that is just packed with every feature you could almost ever ask for. This is the most mature Apple has ever been with its hardware and software experience, and it's pretty much, I hate to say, a nearly perfect phone. So if you have an older iPhone or you're an Android user, I think this phone's gonna make you really happy because it has almost everything you could ever want. And I can't wait to use it for the rest of the year. I'm very happy with this device. This video was sponsored by Rhino Shield. Rhino Shield has an amazing lineup of cases for the iPhone 14 series and many other devices. And these cases check off all the right boxes. First off, and most importantly, they're protective. They have excellent drop protection. When you pair these cases with one of their screen protectors and grip accessory, there's even more protection, 360-degree protection. They're also very customizable. You can choose different color options, different designs, different collaborations. Just check out this range of cases they sent me. And no matter what you're interested in, Rhino Shield definitely has a case designed for you to fit your interest or aesthetic. These cases also have upgraded MagSafe strength, so for all your MagSafe accessories, you're gonna slap them on, they're gonna hold a lot stronger, you're gonna feel more confident using them, and that's a great thing to have. So grab a Rhino Shield case so you can feel even more confident with extra drop protection and personalization. Or grab a case for your AirPods or Apple Watch, they also have those too. Use my link in the description and code KNOOPSY for 20% off your purchase in the first week after this video goes live and 10% off after. Thanks to Rhino Shield for sponsoring this video. And that's pretty much it for this video. Let me know your thoughts on the iPhone 14 Pro Max in the comments down below. And if you actually bought this phone, let me know what you like and let me know what you don't like as much. I want to hear all of your thoughts. Let me know. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe, and thank you for watching.